How'd it go with the cops? Kath, you said you were going to go in this morning and give them a statement.
I don't know what to say.
We already went over it. You just say you were with me all night.
If I'm covering for you, I need to know why. Were you really alone?
Can we not go over this right now?
Then why am I here?
To deal with my car. Hey, look. Let's just get through this, all right?
Sir, we're gonna need you to come with us now.
Valley, talking about her new music, which I'm so excited to chat about. That clip was from the show, so let's start there.
Okay, cool.
What'd you like about the character when you first saw the script?
Yeah, I guess the thing I liked most about Casey was kind of all the different layers she had and how different she is with depending on who she's interacting with, you know? I think all of us can relate to, like, you know, you're different around your parents as opposed to, like, your boyfriend or your best friend, and Casey kind of has that, I think, in her where, like, depending on who she's around, she kind of pulls out a little bit of a different personality in a way, you know, whether or not she's around, when she's around Kira and being a personal assistant, or, you know, when she's with Pete.
Yeah. I mean, tell me about working with Kira. I mean, she's so amazing in the show. What was it like working with her?
Yeah, she was great. She's such a good leader. You know, different shows that I've worked on, you know, depending on who that lead person is or who's number one on the call sheet, like it really can make a difference on how it is on set, you know, what the tone is on set. So she was one of those people that's just such a good leader because she comes to set, you know, really excited and like positive, but then at the same time just ready to like go for it, you know, in every moment. And when you have someone like that as the leader, then it just kind of filters down to the whole cast. So it was really exciting from day one to be working with her.
Is there something that you learned in a particular scene, or maybe when you first met her, that she passed down to you? I mean, she's been in the business for so long and had such an incredible career. I mean, did she pass anything down to you?
You know, I don't know that she ever in particular like gave me any piece of advice or anything like that, but just watching her work, I think there were definitely things that I picked up on that I was like, oh yeah, you know, like I definitely, I want to make sure that I do that in my work. You know, she's not afraid if she needs like a moment to herself or whatever to get into the moment, she takes it. I think sometimes on set, you know, it can be a social atmosphere as well. You know, everyone's waiting for the next shot, so you might be chatting with the cameraman, you might be, or, you know, getting a snack or something, but she's really good about like, oh, if this is a certain moment that she wants to make really, really great, she goes off and finds a place to really prepare and be ready. And I think that's always a good reminder, because I know for me sometimes when I'm, you know, on set, I also feel a need to sort of like, you know, talk to everyone on set and like be kind and, you know, and all of that is great.
Well, don't stop doing that.
No, I don't want to stop being kind or anything like that. But, you know, like sometimes you go like, oh, but I need to make sure that like the main thing is I'm super ready for this moment. So if I need to take a second to myself, like that's okay. Yeah.
I mean, the show is so fun and how meta it is. I mean, it's a crime show while you're shooting a crime show. I mean, that's really fun to play with. I mean, is it fun to be on like a fake set that's being shot by a set? Are you confused? Is that light for the shot, or is that the light that we're actually using?
Yeah, you know what's funny? Some of those scenes, you see actual PAs that were on the set. They like put them in as extras and stuff. So that was kind of cool. It is a little strange when it's like you're shooting a show about a show. So you're shooting a set, you know, that is basically the set where where you are working. Yeah, the office, like the writer's room office, is like an actual office at Paramount. So they'd be like, oh yeah, just go to our office. Like where the 10 Days in the Valley office was the same office that we used.
Cutting a lot of corners. I like this. Saving a lot of money.
I guess they saved some money on.
I hope they give you guys a bonus or something. Come on.
I don't know.
I mean, it's really fun having the PAs there. I mean, are there any moments on that fake set that sort of resemble real sets that you've been on, or certain characters, the PAs or the writers or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things I did like about Casey was that I could imagine, like when I made my audition tape for this show, actually, I remember thinking that I wanted to do my hair in this certain way that I thought of like PAs on set, like always doing their hair, like, yeah, I think they did a really good job of like capturing, you know, what it can be like on set. I don't know about writers' rooms because I'm not usually in the writers' rooms, but it was kind of cool to like, you know, most of the time Casey's not saying anything in those writers' rooms meetings, or at least in the first episode when they show it. But seeing how they set it up, or like, you know, yeah.
I mean, for the people who have seen the first couple episodes, I mean, what can they expect coming down the line? I mean, we have a couple more episodes to go. There are a lot of mysteries. I'm sure they're going to be revealed. Tell us what we can look forward to.
Yeah, well, I think it's just going to get crazier and crazier. You know, what's cool about the show is it's not just about figuring out where this girl is. It's also, I think, Kira's realizing all the people around her in her life have secrets and have things going on that.
I mean, I was so
Yeah.
shocked. She was so
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah. I think things for Casey are just going to continue to unravel and get worse, you know? And she's going to have to kind of roll with the punches. And I think from the first couple episodes, you can see she's very eager to please and have the people around her like her. And that's going to get harder and harder to maintain. Yeah. So I think that's going to be really fun for people to watch.
That's fun. I mean, the mystery dramas like this, I mean, it's you want to see the next episode. You're so obsessed with it. Is there shows like this? Do you enjoy watching shows like this, criminal procedurals and things like that?
Yeah, I do. The only reason I don't like them sometimes is I'll say to myself, like, oh man, I don't know if I can do this with my weekend. You know, because you go, oh, I have to watch the next one. So I can remember like starting Lost. I mean, I know this was a long time ago, but I'd be like, oh my God, is this what I'm gonna do for the whole weekend? Like, I gotta.
It's over the week, yeah.
Yeah. So.
How did you feel about that finale? Let's get deep about it.
I never, the very last, wasn't it like All a Dream or something like that? I don't.
Oh, no, spoiler alert. No,
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
kidding. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about that. Is it tough for you to keep a secret? You know what happens at the end. Is it tough for people asking you now that the shows are coming out and you're interacting with people?
I have quite a bit of training when it comes to keeping secrets after being on The Walking Dead, you know?
I was gonna get to The Walking Dead and Beth, obviously.
Yeah, I feel like I had to keep a lot of secrets on that show. So yeah, by now I'm pretty trained in, I think, how to answer a question and not answer it if I need to, you know, answer, or yeah.
So who took her?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I tried.
You're going to have to watch to find out. You'll never believe it.
Are people going to be shocked? Oh, you're never going to believe it. Okay. We have to talk about The Walking Dead. Obviously, you're so fantastic in that show.
Oh,
I mean,
thank you
I'm
so
sure
much.
that still resounds. Are you still getting approached for Beth and people still stop you on the street?
Yeah, of course. I mean, even out here today, there were people with, Beth pictures and stuff. And it's great because that show is so good. I'm so proud to be a part of it. I feel like, all those people are my friends. So it's not like one of those things where I'm like, oh God, like, you still remember me from that show? Like embarrassing or something. I'm not embarrassed at all. Like, I'm so proud of that character and I'm so like proud to be a part of that show. So it's all good, you know? But of course, now I'm excited too to like, work on new projects. Because as an actor, one of the best things is that, each job is so different. And it takes you to different locations in the world, and you get to play different kinds of people. And
do you have a particular scene that you look back on that you really loved the work in, perhaps, over the seasons that you were Beth?
Yeah, there's a bunch. It was 4 seasons, so I have a bunch of special ones. One that's been sticking out to me a lot lately, like when I get that question, is there was a moment in season 3 where we're all around the campfire before finding the prison, or we're about to like go kind of make the prison our home. And I just remember shooting that scene as just being like very pleasant, and like it was when we shot it, it was after the first week of season 3 of shooting, and it was just like such a nice way to end the week and to be with everyone all together. In that show, a lot of times everyone has their separate storylines, and that was a moment when all the group of us were doing a scene together, and I got to sing in that scene, which was with Lauren, which was like, so it's a very memorable night to me. Yeah,
absolutely. Is there obviously people come and they support the music and they've seen the shows and everything. Is there someone that you would stay in touch with particularly from the show still, or?
Yeah, there's certain people. I mean, I get to see these people a lot because I still go to a lot of conventions and, things like that. So there's certain people I see a lot at those. Like I do see Steven a lot, and like he lives actually really close to me in LA. So I see Steven, I see Alana, which is funny because I didn't really work with her a bunch during the show. I see Scott. Actually, Scott Wilson just called me today to see if I wanted to get dinner. So, and he always says, "Your dear old dad's calling you," you know,
Oh,
like,
so
yeah.
sweet.
So he's, I love Scott, and I'm still pretty close with him, you know. So he's kind of like such a great support. Yeah.
And when other people left the show, like Steven, I mean, did you guys counsel each other? Did you guys talk about the process?
Oh,
of
we always
departing?
chat. You know, I mean, I think it's such, to be a part of a show like that is such a unique experience, and nobody really knows except for the other people who have gone through it. And so, especially in the people that I worked with, like, early on, you know, in, like, season 3. And, yeah, so we always have, like, our little powwows, you know. You got to have, like, friends to chat
I talked to
with.
Robert Kirkman and Scott Gimple, and they said that they get probably the most hate social media for killing you. Is that something that you
Oh my
encourage,
gosh.
or-
I don't know. You know, I guess the good thing about that, I mean, please don't send hate, email to. I love Scott Gimple. Actually, he's someone I got breakfast with him not too long ago, and we'll, you know, text and say, "How's this going? How's that going?" So he's someone who has become once again a great supporter and good friend. And but you know, the good thing about that is it says to me that it was a character that people really gravitated towards, and there was something about Beth that people just like
Young women
understood
especially,
or
I'm
wanted.
sure.
Yeah, and you know, maybe within the show there weren't a lot of like younger women in the show, so that was one that they could relate to. And so that's really special to me. The fact that people miss your character when your character dies is I mean,
good thing.
it's kind of satisfying, right? Because like if the character died off and they were like, yeah, whatever, she was annoying anyway, or
a couple
whatever, then
people
you're
I
like,
feel like
oh
could die
man, like
off
I worked
and,
in the yeah.
and no one would care. Do you still watch the show, or Fear the Walking Dead? I mean, are you able to keep up with episodes? I'm sure it's pretty tough.
Yeah, I don't watch it as much, partly because, to be honest, I get scared now. And also, it's
You're
my
scared now
friends
that you're
on
on the
there.
other
I
side?
know, which is weird. When I was a teenager, I watched all those like scary movies and stuff. But for some reason now, it like, I don't know if it's because I was on the show or what, but for what you would think, then I would be like, oh, it's all fake. It wouldn't
You
affect
know how
me.
they do it. The veil's
There's
been pulled.
something, I don't know if it's for so long I'm convincing myself, something about the psychology of playing that character that makes me, it is a bit hard to watch the violent stuff for me because I'm a wimp, you know? Like, I'm an actress, I'm emotional. So I go to myself, do I want to, like, watch this and cry tonight? I don't know. Like,
And you still have people on the show that you're emotionally invested in. So
yeah,
there we
that's
go.
part of it too. You know what I'll do sometimes is if I know someone has a big episode coming up, like a friend of mine, I'll watch just that. I don't watch it like in order. Or like I remember one night I was like, oh, I just felt like watching the show. And so I like caught up with like 4 in a row. So I just don't watch it every Sunday necessarily with everyone else. I kind of like give myself just, you know, and if I'm not home Sunday or whatever, I'll just, I'll kind of watch it in my own time.
Are you glad you got out before Negan? In the
Yeah,
back?
I
There we
mean,
go.
that's just, ugh. Yeah.
That's no fun for anybody.
It doesn't look like fun, so I'm okay with missing.
I mean, talking about the show and you having music on it, I mean, how did that came? That came pretty organically, right? Because you started making music before you were even on the show, and then it ended up in there, right?
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. I had always kind of just played small music clubs around New York City. I'd play like Rockwood or pianos. And I had started making my own EP. After I finished Spring Awakening, I was like, oh man, everyone's like, I felt like really inspired. I'd met this really good friend of mine, Conrad Korsch, and he had really inspired me to like start recording my music. And so I'd recorded that EP, and then right as I released it actually is when I got cast on Walking Dead. And in between seasons, between season 2 and season 3, one of the writers had come to a show of mine at Rockwood, and then right before season 3, I remember the showrunner calling me and saying like, "Oh, we were thinking of having like Beth sing, like that would be like a thing," and.
We heard you can sing basically through the grapevine.
Yeah,
is what
and
they
well,
said.
at first he was like, "Are you comfortable with that?" Also, you know, we realized like, "Oh, you could sing, and that might be a nice element." You know, the show it is violent. It's and scary, and I think they needed moments of like calm, and I think music is a great way to connect with people, and I think that music is a great way to kind of add that element of calm.
You need those smiles and that quiet more, those campfires, that sort of thing.
Yeah, it was sort of a nice release from
And
that.
how did it come to be that you did it with Lauren and making that song?
Oh, yeah. I mean, once we wanted it to be almost like, oh, this is a family song. I mean, if you see the show, yeah, we're around the campfire, and it was like, oh, you guys are going to sing like a family song. So then it's like, oh, yeah, she knows the words too, of course, to this Irish hymn. And then we, of course, decided to record it and stuff as well to put on the soundtrack.
Were you able to play many gigs when you were down in Georgia? Because I know you were stuck down there quite a bit. Were you able to play?
Yeah, I was there a lot, and I would have like whole episodes off sometimes if you see the show, because we all had these different storylines. So I did. I started playing shows at Eddie's Attic, and there's the ATL Collective, and in Atlanta, and I
Explain the ATL Collective.
Well, I don't know a ton about it, but they do these shows like once a month, I want to say, where they'll like cover an artist, and it's just a bunch of local Atlanta musicians. And Atlanta has such a great music scene. And yeah, I mean, since I was spending so much time in Atlanta, I really got into their music scene, and I met, musicians that play around Atlanta. So yeah, I became kind of like in that whole scene, which was really fun.
I heard some cast members would drop in on some of those shows and enjoy that getaway.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, a bunch of times people would come in and watch me at Eddie's. Yeah.
In their whole gear, covered in blood, maybe,
Oh, I don't know. Yeah.
Let's talk about the new album and the new music. I mean, obviously you had a particular style back then, and now you've evolved it a little bit. Can you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, I've definitely taken my time with this next group of music. A lot of my last music was very guitar-based, I would say, and that's kind of how I still write a lot of my songs, is just kind of sitting with my guitar or taking poems and putting them to music. But this time, when I got into the studio, I wanted the songs to have a little bit more weight, I guess. In the past, I'll write songs that maybe are serious, but then I tend to, I'm pretty happy. Yeah, I can't complain. Everything's great.
I can tell that.
So I would find myself adding instruments that kind of gave everything a lighter feel. But this time around, I wanted things to have a little bit more. I wanted the words that I said to have a little bit more weight. So I started experimenting a lot more with the sounds. And in this new album, you'll hear a lot more synth type sounds. You'll have some program drums as opposed to like warm real drums. But you'll still have that too, because I love like Americana folk music. So you'll still have a little bit of that element, some Moog and a lot less guitar and things like that. But I'm excited about it. Yeah.
Are there, obviously you have a lot of influences and you look up to a lot of musicians. Are there any in particular that sort of change your trajectory or that you want to sort of follow their careers a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, one thing I thought about a lot is, well, what do I listen to in the car? And what kind of music do I like? And what elements from that can I bring, like not so much to the words, because I do feel like that is similar, like the kinds of topics that I'm exploring. But I really love this band, Frightened Rabbit. They're kind of like rock, lo-fi, band, the kind of band that I go and see. And then I really love like Regina Spektor and Ingrid Michaelson. So I was like, is there a way to like put the two together? So it's kind of an attempt to figure out that a little bit, if that makes any sense.
No, absolutely. And you toured a little bit, obviously, with the last couple of EPs and songs. I mean, what was it like to tour the country and see and have probably a mix of the music fans and also the TV fans and that experience?
Yeah, it was so fun. When I did This Is War, I got to tour. I got to do like I think 36 cities is what it. And then I did another like second part of the tour like in November. So it's like we did that in the summer, and then late fall did kind of like a second tour.
So are you flying, or is this bus? Is this van?
I mean, it's van and trailer. Yeah.
Like the real deal here, yeah.
Oh yeah, hauling our gear from the I mean, it's not like, but it was so. It's so fun, and the friends that I made, I mean, my band members became some of my best friends still, and it was a great experience. It was cool getting to play your songs and then realize that people actually were listening and know the words and like had, I guess that's the best thing about playing on the road is you go to some town you haven't been to, and then someone that you don't know says words that you wrote in your room by yourself about something very personal. And it's, that's really special. Yeah.
Is there anybody out there that you'd love to collaborate with, or any venues out there that you have left to play that would be a landmark?
I mean, there's so many venues. Like, I mean, I would love to go on tour again and play even bigger venues and do all of that. I mean, my parents live in Colorado, and they go and see shows at Red Rocks all the time, so it's always been a little bit of a dream, even just to see a show there. Like, I've never really gotten to see a show there, but I've, like, hiked up there and just, like, stood there on the stage and been like, oh, this is cool, you know?
Great place to see a show.
Yeah. So that's, like, kind of a dream venue to go to and
There we go, Red Rocks, Booker, come on.
What's that? Yeah.
Red Rock, we're getting it out
yeah,
there. Red Rocks.
Yeah. So there's that. Yeah. What
Artists to collaborate with.
Oh,
that you'd
artists.
love to.
You know, people always ask me that. I feel like I find a lot. I mean, there are so many artists. I mean, I like, yeah, like I said, Frightened Rabbit. I feel like is one that I think it'd be cool to write with the guy Scott, that is, like, you know, the singer of that band. Yeah, you know, the people that inspire me the most are some of my just, like, really good musician friends that I know from here in New York, and then I know from here in LA. So, like, one of my favorite people to collaborate with is my best friend Haley. You know, and so, like, you might not know her music, but she's great, and I love to spend an afternoon, you know, with her. And yeah, so
It's amazing. Well, we have some questions out in the audience. We can start right there.
How challenging was it working on Walking Dead physically, and doing, like, exterior scenes or being in the woods or anything, like in the prison, as compared to this show? Like, is it nicer now not to have to be outside so much?
Yeah, that was something. I mean, right away, once I left the show and started working on other shows, I was like, whoa, being inside and being in a studio on a soundstage, you can, like, control the, you know, if you're hot, they, like, turn on the air conditioning. If you're cold, you know.
Clean clothes.
Yeah, clean clothes. But, you know, I mean, some days it was really challenging. I feel like it was more challenging for the crew, because if you're an actor, you do get breaks, and you can go into the air conditioning, and you can, you know, so I always felt like it was more of a challenge, like the elements for the crew or something. And then in some ways, I would almost feel like the elements would help me be a better actor, you know, because, you know, you didn't have to, like, fake that you were sweating and hot and sort of miserable or whatever, because you did kind of feel that way if it was, like, bad weather, or if it was super hot in the middle of the day, or if you had, you know, to work long hours into the night. It was like, well, this works for the character totally. So you could sort of, there's something about being outside that I really love about. I love when I'm an actor and acting, because you get to just let things affect you instead of trying to control everything. Because I think sometimes as an actor, or at least me, I can start to try to control the performance so much. And when you're outside, you sort of are at the mercy of your environment in a great way.
Yeah, that makes sense. Next question right there.
Hi, Emily.
Hi.
I'm from undeadwalking.com, and I have to say the contrast of your characters from The Walking Dead in 10 Days is just astonishing. It's a complete metamorphosis. And I was wondering, recently I know you toured Japan over in HollyCon, and what it was like to reconnect with your Bev fans abroad, and you know, you have fans all over the world. So
yeah, that's another cool thing about being on a show like this that's all over the world. I would have never imagined when I was little and was like, I want to be an actor, that I would be going to Tokyo, or, you know, I've been to, like, Buenos Aires doing conventions, and it's so cool. And it's crazy to go to another country where, like, you don't really even know the same language, yet they know you. You know, they feel like they know you, and maybe know your songs. Like, when I sang at HollyCon, they actually were singing "Never Leave LA" with me, and or, you know, some of the fans that were there, and that was pretty. It's pretty special. So I'm so thankful for the fans, like, all over the world. It's kind of unbelievable. Yeah.
Absolutely. One last question.
Hi. So you mentioned that you are kind of you start your acting from an emotional place, and I was wondering if that helps you connect with your characters better.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, I feel like if I usually characters that I play, I do feel like I've been in their position in some way. You know, maybe their position is, like, much more extreme or whatever. But there's usually something where I go, okay, have I been in a similar situation? When have I felt like this person? That is definitely a place, that is a way that I sort of like connect to what they're going through, you know, emotionally. It's just to try to see when I've experienced a similar emotion. Yeah.
Well, look out for the new music. End of this month, correct? The Mermaid is what it's called?
Yes, October 27th.
There we go.
It's called Mermaid, so check it out.
Can't wait. And 10 Days in the Valley on ABC. Give her another round of applause, guys. Thanks so much for being here, Emily.
Thank you.